Hi everyone, it's Hannah from StarmoreBoss. So this week we're doing a bit of a campaign on social media about International Women's Day, which was on Monday. And as part of it, we thought we'd get in touch with one of our favourite suppliers of Marta Vine. We wanted to give a bit of an insight as to what it's like working in the industry and let you guys get to know her a little bit better. So we've got a couple of questions just to ask you. Firstly, a little introduction about yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
So, my name is Marta. I have a very long name because of my country of origin, my accent from Portugal. I started my own company about 10 years ago called Marta Vine. I am passionate about wines, about my country, about different cultures, and about all people like you and like my clients, independent wine shops that I supply. So I'm in UK for in the past 10 years and I import wines from Portugal and elsewhere now. I just want to show you the best that I can find so that we can have a lot of fun.
How did you get into the industry?
How did I get to this industry? Well, I moved from Portugal to UK 10 years ago. Just to kind of explore and see how things were going to be with my now husband Kevin, that also worked with me at Marta Vine. And back at home, since very young time, I belong to a family that somehow we are involved with wine. We don't make wine, but we have cork farms in Alentejo, a beautiful region, very calm there. So these cork trees, they are of course used, as you know, to make the cork, to top bottles and so on. So I grew up in an environment, being around producers of wine, searching for different opportunities and different ways to work with their wines, also with the cork and the agricultural side. Then I went to a university and I specialized myself in a mapping computing system. And that again allowed me to work with a lot of producers because I was working for a while for the Portuguese Wine Institute. And there I come across with incredible producers, mainly from my country, but all around the country. And when I moved to UK, I could not really get jobs in my field. So 10 years ago it was quite difficult to get jobs in mapping and vines and wineries over here. So I could also very, very difficult to find uniqueness of our grape varieties and Portuguese wines that I wanted really to show to my friends when we were having just dinner around the table at home and so on. So I put the two together with everyone that I met in my country and just start to speak with people and start to show to independent wine shops around here in UK. I was knocking in some doors, making some friends and just see what was the feeling. So everything started very small and since then I'm quite busy doing what I'm doing so well with you guys.
What's your favourite thing about the job?
Favorite thing about my job? There are many. But let me think, maybe I love to experience different cultures, different countries, and all together with wine involved. So I love to try different grape varieties. I love to get involved with all these producers and chatting with them, we have this kind of involvement, travel, see their places, show and bring those wines to you guys, to everyone to try them together. And this kind of sharing of experience and really taking the best of what is out there in the world is what I really love in my business. So yeah, I think that's it.
And on the flip side, what's the hardest thing about the job?
Hardest part of my job? Well, you will laugh, I bet. That is when actually I have to try about 80 plus wines in one day, tasting wine. So quite difficult. And of course to make the final decisions because come across with amazing wines, you come across with fantastic people, and then at the end of the day you have to sit down and really think careful exactly what you need, what you can offer over here, thinking about quality, prices and everything together. So it's a lot out there to think of.
So who is your favourite female winemaker and why?
So my favorite female winemaker, well, I am very privileged because I work with 3 winemakers that I find fascinating, different regions. The 3 of them actually are from Portugal. I have Mafalda Vasques in Alentejo, I have Rita Cabral de Almeida in Dão, and I have Ana Rola in Douro. And I'm very fortunate, they are great women and they make amazing wines with different styles. If I have to choose one, it's really difficult, really. Maybe Ana Rola, because I find fascinating the way she's developing her business, the fantastic wines she's creating in such a traditional, old-fashioned region, Douro Valley, knowing very well that is mainly dominated by older generations of men and families of men, with all the port houses and so. And then you have a kind of a breath of fresh air with Ana Rola, with her table wines, with wines that have a lot of attitude, that they are very eye-catchy. The character of them are just unique for me. And I think Ana has this know-how in terms of technique. She's also a local, so she belongs to that land. She knows it exactly, every single thing of it. And she makes wines that she really belong and believe, actually. She's a mother, she's a great girl, she's lots of fun. And all together just make a fantastic one that I had to come up with the name. But I love the 3 and just be aware and search for them. They are great winemakers.
Are there any women in particular that in the industry that inspire you at all?
Yes, there are. I find quite fascinating some women in the world and some women in the wine industry. So just briefly, let's think. The 3 that I said before, I think, the 3 winemakers I work with, Mafalda Vasques, Rita Cabral de Almeida and Ana Rola. But I also really have this wow thing about Dona Irmelinda Freitas. So Casa Ferreirinha, like is known all around the world. In the 1800s, she was a wow woman. She's a businesswoman, business-minded in the Douro Valley. She's local from the Douro Valley, and she created a fascinating company in terms of winemaking, also port wines. She was very clever in a very open-minded attitude. So she traveled the world, she traveled to France and so on. And at that time, when it was totally just men behind businesses, she stood up and she created like the best wine still in Portugal and in the world, I think, for it. And yeah, it was a woman that I would have loved to have the pleasure to meet and to have a chat and actually to have a glass of wine with her, because it must be a really fascinating lady.
Do you think there are any particular challenges being a woman in the wine industry?
So if I think there are challenges for women, yes, I think so actually. Thinking about my industry, and I here speak more about Portugal because this is my first background and I am specially in, but of course I also have a bit of other countries. It's a country that it's very male dominated still. It belonged to the old wine world countries, and we still have a little bit of this mentality of men behind the structure businesses. So I do think that they have to work a little bit harder. They have to think more about innovation, about ways of how they can stand up. Although the skills, the technique, the well way of making wines, I think is with them. But yes, I think more and more now we see winemakers, women winemakers. Even so, I think they still have to battle and follow their path with a little bit more ups and downs. But when they do it well, I think they do fascinating wines. I think women have a little bit more a special touch almost. So they make it very unique, very smooth, very elegant, kind of glamorous like we are.
And finally, what advice would you give to women entering the industry?
If I had an advice to give to some of them or to some women that are thinking to come into in this industry, well, I just think they have to be a little bit like me as well, perseverance. So you just keep on going, try your best, be good in what you are, believe in yourself. And yeah, we do things different, but it's not in the worst ways, in a beautiful way. And when everything can come across together and work in perfection, well, that is where everything goes 100% well. So just keep on going, and I'm here for you.
Thanks so much, Marta, for your responses. It's been lovely to have a little chat with you about it. I hope everyone enjoyed that, and we'll be posting more stuff throughout the rest of the week for International Women's Day. And yeah, give Marta a follow. She's always the most lovely person, always super happy as well. It's always a joy to see. Thanks everyone. Bye.